Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline for Pixie Dust PhD. In today's video, we will be continuing our Disney Vacation Club Home Resort Fast Facts series with the Copper Creek Villas and Cabins. If you're interested in staying at Copper Creek for an upcoming trip, I will have all of your need-to-know information. And further, if you're considering Copper Creek for your Disney Vacation Club Home Resort, this video should prove quite useful. If this topic sounds up your alley, please consider checking out all of the videos in the Disney Vacation Club Fast Facts series. I will leave a link in the description below, or you can go ahead and click the card here. If you find this helpful, please remember to hit that thumbs up button to like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. Ring the bell icon for notifications for whenever I post new videos. Whether you're already a Disney Vacation Club owner and you're going to use your own points to stay at Copper Creek, or you're going to rent someone else's points, or even pay the cash rate to stay at Copper Creek, stay tuned to learn everything you need to know about this wonderful resort. The Copper Creek Villas and Cabins are part of the Wilderness Lodge resort area and are not a standalone Disney Vacation Club resort. Previously on this channel, we've already gone over the Boulder Ridge Villas, which are also part of the Wilderness Lodge area. If you want more in-depth information, instead of a brief overview about the resort theming, dining options, recreation, transportation, and more, please go ahead and watch that Boulder Ridge video. I'll leave a link in the description below, or you can click the card in the corner. Even though Copper Creek and Boulder Ridge are both part of that Wilderness Lodge resort area, they are actually separate DVC resorts. Meaning if you buy a Copper Creek Disney Vacation Club contract, then you do not get that 11-month home resort priority booking window over at Boulder Ridge and vice versa. This is in stark contrast to the Animal Kingdom Villas, where you buy a single Animal Kingdom Villas contract and you have equal access to the Kidani and the Jambo House side of things. Here at the Wilderness Lodge, Boulder Ridge and Copper Creek are completely separate. Although they are separate, they share a lot of similarities, of course, being part of the same resort area. We'll breeze through a lot of the similarities now, as we've already covered them more in depth over in that Boulder Ridge Villas video. The Wilderness Lodge has lush theming to the national parks of the early 20th century. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, so I have a fondness for the sort of a log cabin feel. Overall, I'd say you get a lot of rustic but modern elegance at this resort. Free transportation is a boat to the Magic Kingdom, and even though you are in that Magic Kingdom resort area, you are not on the monorail. You can also take this boat to the Contemporary Resort and Fort Wilderness. Otherwise, you'll be taking a bus everywhere else. If you've got your own vehicle, you'll be parking in the main lot for the Wilderness Lodge. However, if you're staying in one of those Copper Creek cabins, there are actually small separate lots specifically for cabins parking. Your primary dining options at the Wilderness Lodge will be Storybook Dining at Artist Point, as well as Whispering Canyon Cafe for table service. The lounge near Artist Point is called Territory Lounge. Quick service dining is offered at Geyser Point Bar and Grill, as well as the Roaring Fork. And your market is the Wilderness Lodge Mercantile. Wilderness Lodge has two main pools to enjoy, the Silver Creek Springs Pool as well as the Boulder Ridge Cove Pool. Other recreation includes the fitness center, arcade, bike rentals, watercraft rentals, fishing, playground area, barbecue, and more. There is also a salon on the premises. Now that we've briefly covered most of what overlaps with Boulder Ridge Villas, let's go ahead and focus on Copper Creek. This Disney Vacation Club home resort opened in 2017, making it one of the newer options located at Walt Disney World. For now, it's only older than the Riviera Resort. Copper Creek, unlike Boulder Ridge, does have the option for a guaranteed week or a guaranteed event week contract. To learn more about guaranteed weeks, go ahead and click the card in the corner, or you can find the link in the description below. Moving on to the cost. The initial purchase price directly from Disney is $220 per point. On the resale market, you can tend to find contracts around the $150 per point mark. I have seen much smaller contracts go up into the $170 per point range, and then much larger contracts you can find in the 130s to 140s. Whether you're making that initial purchase directly through Disney or on the resale market, the initial purchase price does tend to be slightly higher than average when comparing it to other Disney Vacation Club home resorts at Walt Disney World. Annual dues for Copper Creek owners in 2020 were around $7.45. In 2021, dues are now $7.59. The dues rate is also just slightly higher than average when comparing to other Disney Vacation Club home resorts at Walt Disney World. In 2021, Boardwalk, Animal Kingdom, Boulder Ridge, Old Key West, and Riviera all have more expensive dues than Copper Creek. In 2020, the dues ranking lineup looked pretty similar, although Boardwalk was actually slightly less expensive than Copper Creek. But back in 2019, Copper Creek was actually the third most expensive, with only Animal Kingdom and Riviera costing more in dues per point. Dues are always subject to fluctuate, and of course we can't predict the future. But in general, it looks like you'll be able to count on the dues for Copper Creek being in the top half in terms of cost for those Disney Vacation Club home resorts located at Walt Disney World. The amount of points required to stay at Copper Creek will range from basically average to slightly high. Very generally, the points cost will be comparable to Boulder Ridge, Bay Lake Tower, and Beach Club. Usually rooms over at Old Key West, Animal Kingdom, Boardwalk, and Saratoga, at least that standard view category, are going to cost less points than you would spend over at Copper Creek. That leaves more expensive rooms than Copper Creek over at the Polynesian, the Grand Floridian, and the Riviera Resort. By pure rank, the points required to stay at Copper Creek tend to be slightly higher than the middle of the pack. That being said, it exists in a cluster with several other resorts where point costs are extremely similar, so it may end up feeling average. Overall, the cost of Copper Creek is going to be perhaps slightly high. The initial purchase price, annual dues costs, and points required to stay at Copper Creek are all just slightly on the high end of things. However, this contract doesn't expire until 2068, which is one of the latest expiration dates available. You will have plenty of time to get your use out of this contract. All rooms are within a single view category, so while there are slightly different views, you won't be paying a different amount of points for them. Honestly, most of the views from the Copper Creek building are fabulous. If your room faces towards the inside of the resort, you'll probably be able to see Copper Creek Falls or the Springs Pool. If your room faces the outside of the building, you're probably overlooking that Boulder Ridge Cove Pool. There are also just a small handful of rooms on the very end of the building that look directly out over Bay Lake. That being said, for the most part, from the vast majority of the rooms, if you're willing to lean a little bit, you'll have partial views of Bay Lake. Depending on how unobstructed your view of Bay Lake is, you may even be able to catch views of the electrical water pageant. These standard villas are all contained within a single building, attached right off the lobby. Then those cabins are their own standalone buildings that are waterfront on Bay Lake. There are 42 dedicated studios that sleep up to 4 adults at Copper Creek. Copper Creek is the resort where I've seen the most conflicting information about room size. The numbers I cite on this video may be inaccurate as I am sourcing them from third-party websites and not directly from Disney Vacation Club. What you'll hear today and what I cited in my Disney Vacation Club room size comparison video is just the number that I see come up the most frequently. With that caveat set aside, the Copper Creek studios are a modest size at around 338 square feet. 1-bedroom villas sleep up to 4 people and come in at 675 square feet. There are 20 dedicated 1-bedrooms available at Copper Creek. The 56 dedicated 2-bedrooms come in at around 1,051 square feet and sleep up to 8. The 3-bedroom grand villas sleep up to 12 in a space of 2,237 square feet. However, there are only 4 grand villas in total. Those Copper Creek cabins, the Bay Lake waterfront standalone buildings, accommodate up to 8 people. These are slightly over 1,200 square feet in total, and there are 26 of these at the resort. In general, the Copper Creek villas are a bit on the small side. The cabins are fairly generously sized, coming in at over 1,200 square feet for a 2-bedroom, and then those 3-bedroom grand villas are fairly average in the rank. But the standard studio, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom villas all come in pretty small in the rankings, and you may feel a little bit cramped. The cabins at Copper Creek are a unique offering featuring 2 proper bedrooms and 2 full bathrooms. These are waterfront standalone buildings, so in that sense they are similar to those Bora Bora bungalows over at the Polynesian. However, note that waterfront is not over water. You will be right on Bay Lake, but you aren't literally in the lake like those Bora Bora bungalows literally are in the lagoon. These cabins feel very luxurious with exposed beamwork and a huge stone hearth fireplace in the living room. There's marble countertops, a pretty massive jetted tub, a rainfall shower, imposing windows in that living room area that offer floor-to-ceiling views, and there are very effective blackout shades for when you want some privacy, and what is, in my opinion, probably the coolest feature, which is a huge wraparound porch/deck. One section of this area is gated off and you have your own private hot tub. The rest is a lovely area with chairs and tables to relax. And the entire porch is screened in to make sure you keep those bugs out. For the sake of comparison, these cabins are an incredibly expensive accommodation. But that being said, they are actually going to cost you slightly less than the Bora Bora bungalows. As far as room quirks go, there really aren't too many to note. Being one of the newer resorts, I think Disney Vacation Club did a good job of anticipating folks' needs. All proper beds do have bedside tables on both sides of the beds, and all the bathrooms feature some good amount of counter space and/or storage. The 2 bedrooms continue this strange Disney Vacation Club trend where there are actually 4 bathroom sinks, even though there are only 2 toilets. So while you do only have 2 full bathrooms, there's plenty of sink space for everyone. Worth noting, there are actually 2 slightly different types of studios. One type has a shower tub combo and one just has a walk-in shower. Both bathroom layouts are lovely, but be sure to know what you're booking if you have a preference. If you're staying in a studio and need access to laundry, the laundry room is on the 4th floor of the Wilderness Lodge near those elevators. As this resort is still pretty dang new, there are no scheduled refurbishments at this time. If it follows a standard trajectory of a soft goods refurbishment, which typically includes linens, wall coverings, flooring, and some decor, that typically happens 7 years into the life of a resort, so we're still several years away from seeing that. That being said, I don't hear too many complaints about the decor or the interior of the rooms other than the size itself. And a soft goods refurbishment in the future certainly won't change the size of the rooms. The DVC Resale Market blog does some simple math quarterly in order to rank the DVC resorts by economic value. Interestingly, even though Copper Creek has more than 4 years left on that contract, the fall 2020 rankings from this blog post have Copper Creek coming in at number 5 in terms of economical value. I was surprised. I honestly thought it would come in higher. I'll leave a link to the blog post in the description below for you to check out further. What do you think of Copper Creek cabins and villas? Let me know in the comments down below, or you can always find me over on Twitter and Instagram at PixieDustPhD. Also, if you stayed at Copper Creek and Boulder Ridge, or even just a normal hotel room in the Wilderness Lodge, I would love to hear your comparisons of the different areas of this resort. I hope the rest of your day is full of joy, and we'll see you real soon at PixieDustPhD.